everyone. It is me, Jordan Long here, and today I'm going to talk about, why I do not choose. Now, a lot of folks will say, oh, well, if you don't choose, you don't have a say in the Gabber right share near law motes, you know. And a lot of folks will say, well, then you don't have the right to scathe, anything that anyone says or does. Well, if that's true, then it's true then, because I don't go around scathing really anything anyone does, you know. And a lot of folks make a big deal out of it. You say you don't choose, and some folks will make a big deal out of it. They'll be like, Jordan, what do you mean you don't choose? Like, what do you mean you don't choose who the forest sitter and the under forest sitter is going to be? Or who's going to be in the house of the elders or the house of the folks? I just don't choose. I keep out of gathering chooses. Because at the end of the day, in my belief, nothing truly shifts. You know, the same binds that were there during the 4 years of whoever was before are still there. Nothing new shifted, you know. So why should I behave as if it's making a big unlikeness? Oh, and you don't choose who the Reich leader and the under Reich leader and the House of the Elders, House of the Folks, or the High Deaver, or who the earldom, who the share leader is, or the folk mote, or the high devers, or the near leader and the folk mote and high devers. First off, my near nothing shifts. The same folks are still in might. Only in Gabber, Reich, and Shearer do you ever get to choose new folks. But anyway, I keep out of Gabber, Reich, Shearer, near chooses, because whoever you choose isn't going to make a big unlikeness. Things are going to be the same. Income toll being raised or lowered. Some folks might get more work, some folks might not get more work. The folks that have houses, great, but the folks that are homeless, well, they still are homeless. So yeah, nothing shifts, It isn't nothing shifts though. The folks who are workless, I guess, are unworked, are still unworked. So yeah, nothing ever shifts, so why should I behave as if my word is this big apple weighing shake-up? Because it is. Your word will mean something. What if everyone chose not to choose? Well, if everyone chose not to choose, that would be their own business too. And then, well, the folk mote would then the folk Reich would have to say, well, I guess it isn't working out anymore. Or whatever. If everybody chose not to choose, that would be their own business. But no one chooses that. Why do so many folks gotta make a big deal about me not choosing? It's like, well, I'm not here to guilt you or to shame you or to scape you for not choosing. If you don't want to choose, you don't have to. No one's going to make you choose. At least in the 4-1 Reichs, there is no law in Gabber, Reich, Shearer, near that says you have to choose. I know in some folk Reichs they make it a law, but that's only for them to go around and show everyone how greater their folk Reich is. Look, everyone shifted out and chose for our Gabber, our Reich, our Shearer, our near. But half of them chose because they wanted to. The other half chose because if they didn't, they would be seen as outlaws and put in some kind of lockup or worse, Yeah, well then I would, if there was a law, which thank goodness there isn't a law in the 4-1 ranks. If there was, I would choose for someone I knew wasn't going to get in. So I have a throwaway choose. But thank God I don't have to. You know, I don't choose. If someone out there wants to guilt me or shame me or scare me, they have that freedom. But at the end of the day, I don't care. And some folks are going to guilt me and shame me and scare me for not choosing. Well, alright, fine. Alright, well, I don't care. You know? And some folks out there, when they choose for someone, they're still pissed off either way because they think whoever they chose for is going to be godlike and is going to undo all the vines that the land is been in for years or whatever. And even for those who don't choose, they still get pissed off. So, yeah. Well, I don't really care either way. I don't choose. I'll never choose because my word is weak. My word is not going to be an Apple Wayne shake-up. You could say whatever you want to say. That's your own business. But at the end of the day, I just choose not to choose. Alright? Give this film a like. Share and playlist it if you want. And I'll see you later.